All right, let's dive in. We're going to talk about something that sounds like it's straight out of a sci-fi movie, but honestly, it could be changing how our cities run a lot sooner than you might think.
So just imagine for a second. What if your local politician wasn't actually a person? What if the one handling your city's budget, the permits, all the public services was just software? Think about it. No more campaign promises, no schmoozing, no sketchy backroom deals. I mean, that sounds pretty good, right? The idea of a government that just runs on pure, cold logic, one that plays by the rules and applies them exactly the same way for everybody, every single time. It's this really powerful vision of ultimate efficiency and fairness.
Okay, so let's be super clear here. We're not talking about some AI president giving big speeches or anything like that. No. We're zeroing in on a much more down-to-earth role, the civic manager, the local administrator. And that's where this whole idea starts to get really, really interesting.
So what are we actually talking about here? Let's define the term. An AI administrator is basically a system built for all the nitty-gritty, the nuts and bolts of local government. You can kind of think of it as the ultimate bureaucrat. Its whole job is to just get things done, not to come up with some grand new political vision.
So, what would its job description even look like? Well, it would be amazing at applying laws totally uniformly, no favoritism. It could sniff out corruption that's hiding in the data, and it would process things like building permits at lightning speed. It could even go through all the citizen feedback without that human bias of, just wanting to say the right thing to get reelected. But, and this is a big but, you've got to draw the lines somewhere, right? An AI just can't and really shouldn't be making moral calls. It can't answer a question like, what is fair? Because fairness, well, that's a human value. It's not just another data point. And here's the kicker. If something goes horribly wrong, who do you hold accountable? Who's to blame? You can't exactly put a piece of code on trial. Okay, so keeping that really important distinction in mind, let's flip over and look at the upside. Because the potential benefits here, they are absolutely massive. We're talking about making government work better, faster, and way more consistently for all of us. And this really just nails the core advantage, doesn't it? When you're just talking about administrative tasks, it's not even a fair fight. The AI is unbelievably fast and perfectly consistent, every single time. A human? Well, we're naturally slower. And we can be influenced by our mood, our biases, or shoot, even just having a bad day. So here's the bottom line, right? For you, for the average citizen, this could actually mean the end of all that petty corruption, having to slip someone a bribe just to get a permit approved. It would mean faster services, decisions that are totally transparent, and honestly, huge cost savings for the city. It's a really compelling picture of a cleaner, way more efficient government. But just when it's all starting to sound perfect, here comes the twist. The problem of corruption, it doesn't just disappear. Oh no, it evolves. You could even say it gets an upgrade. And this is where we really need to stop and think for a second, because we might get rid of the kind of obvious corruption we all recognize, only to replace it with something way more sneaky, and maybe even way more dangerous. Corruption doesn't go away. It just becomes invisible. It gets hidden deep inside the code. This really shows you the fundamental shift. You see, human corruption is usually pretty small scale and personal. A bribe here, a little nepotism there. But AI corruption, that's a whole different beast. It's systemic. So instead of 1,000 little bribes, imagine just one single act of data manipulation. One tweak to the code by a few powerful people could impact an entire city or heck, an entire country all at once. The scale is just massive. Okay, so that sounds pretty scary. If we know that's the risk, how do we possibly build a system that can protect us? Well, the answer isn't to just throw the whole idea out. It's to get smart and design a much more resilient framework right from the very beginning. And this right here is the guiding principle. It's basically the classic idea of separation of powers, just brought into the 21st century. We all know that corruption loves it when power is all in one place. So the solution? You guessed it. You have to spread that power out. So what does that actually look like in practice? Well, you build it in layers. It all starts with the policy and values layer. That's where we, the humans, set the rules and define the ethics. Then you have a decision layer where you have multiple competing AIs making recommendations. That way, no single AI can be taken over. After that, a hybrid team of people and AI in the execution layer actually carries out the decisions. And watching over all of it, you've got this crucial independent audit layer that keeps an eye on everything, both the humans and the AIs. And at the very top of the pyramid,
That's us, the citizens. We get the final say, acting as the ultimate watchdog for the whole system.
And let me tell you, this is a huge shift from what we have today. I mean, most of what we call e-governance right now is just taking our clunky old bureaucracy and sticking it on a website. It doesn't actually change the underlying power structure, but this framework, this rewires the whole state. It spreads out the power, makes it crystal clear who's accountable for what, and it turns you, the citizen, from just a passive user into a truly active watchdog.
So, when you boil it all down, we're left with this ultimate trade-off. And it's not really a tech question anymore. It's not about which algorithm to use or the best way to code the system. It's something much, much deeper. It's a question about what we, as a society, truly value.
And this quote just nails the dilemma perfectly. AI is better at governing systems, but humans, we're better at representing people. An AI can manage a city with a level of efficiency we can only dream of, but it can never, ever understand what it feels like to actually live in that city. It can't get the human experience. And that leaves us with the big one. The final question really isn't about code. It's about us. If an AI could genuinely give us a government that was fairer, more efficient, and way less corrupt, would you be willing to give up some human control to get it? That's not a question for engineers to solve. It's a philosophical one that every single one of us needs to think about.
If you like the video, please like, share, and subscribe.